First of the best-of-3 finals between West Indies, who didn't lose a preliminary match in the Benson Hedges World Series Cup, and the Australians. Team changes for this first final at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Holding and Richardson come in for the West Indies. Out go Walsh and Greenwich. Greenwich has a leg injury and was unavailable for selection. And for the Australians, Terry Alderman has been made 12th man out of the squad of players, and Craig McDermott comes into the side. The pitch looked very, very good. No grass on it at all, very hard, like a block of concrete, Tony Greig reported from the centre. And the West Indies won the toss and put Australia into bat. Alan Border said he would have batted had he won the toss, so it was all set fair for the Australians to make a big score and set the West Indies a sizable target. We pick up play now in the very first over. Joel Garner is the bowler, steaming in from the Northern or Paddington end, and taking strike is Steve Smith.
And Steve Smith off the mark from the first delivery. Harry Gomes is at mid-off.
Full pitch first delivery. The pressures of a final on already.
And that certainly wasn't a half volley. Very quickly into his normal length. And Steve Smith perhaps just taking his eye off that ball. Ball of yes from Graham Wood. Vivian Richards knocks them out of the ground, but Smith has beaten him home. Smith, I was talking to some of the people at the Institute of Sport yesterday. Apparently he's about 9-7 seconds for 3 runs, Steve Smith.
It was very close. He had a look first, but Richards just took his time, got to get balanced, that extra half a pace, and Smith's struggling. Oh, photo finish, and the batsman would have to get the benefit of the doubt. A deep breath from Graham Wood. Enormous pressure on the opening batsman against Joel Garner.
Off the edge, in the air, Vivian Richards under it, and the first Australian wicket has fallen. And Joel Garner's first over.
What a beautiful piece of bowling. It was well caught, but that was a lethal delivery. Very few batsmen in the world could have handled that. There was right arm over the wicket. He digs it in short. Come at Graham Wood. Tried to keep it down. Got the top of the bat, and Richards took a simple but well-judged catch. And a great start for the West Indian team. What a great one-day bowler Joel Garner is. Out for a duck. Disappointment for Graham Wood, but the elated West Indians gatherers won. And Australia 1 for 3.
Well, that's a good delivery. Richie Richardson grabs it, and Smith doesn't even wait for the umpire's decision. He walks. And what a nasty delivery. I think that was even worse than the one that Graham Wood caught.
And Joel Garner is flat out. I don't think he could bowl any faster, and this wicket, unfortunately, he's got a lot of bounce in it. That was a lethal delivery. We see him just a little bit wide of the stumps and dug it in and come at him. And Richardson took a pretty simple catch, but not much you can do with a delivery like that. And that's a great piece of bowling, and Australia are already in trouble in the third over at 2 for 7.
Holding to Kepler Wessels.
Good shot. Winston Davis is placed wide at mid-on, and Kepler Wessels finding the gap between he and the bowler.
Garner to Border.
Oh, and that's a nasty one. It's got him right in the ribs. By Jove, that'll knock a bit of wind out of him.
That's a sickener for Alan Border.
Holding now bowls to Alan Border. Welcome runs for Alan Border. Only 2 of them, but it breaks the sequence of dots and singles. First boundary of the innings comes from the Australian captain. They have a lot of ground to make up, not just in the loss of the 2 wickets, but in the fact that they went 3 overs. just over 3 overs. They're just a single. They have to catch that up. Marshall to Border.
And a cracking shot there from Border as Marshall, disappointed with himself, obviously gives Border room outside that off stump. And Border quick to seize upon that opportunity. Winston Davis, the new bowler from the Randwick end.
Great shot. Great shot by Border. And if ever Australia is needed what has traditionally come to be known as a captain's knock, it's today.
3 no balls in this over, 9 ball over so far.
Safely away. There's a man at long leg, but can't get it. A good over for Alan Border, but not for Winston Davis. 12 from that over, 2 for 45. 14 overs gone. Winston Davis's first over.
The Australian run rate 3.13, which is not quite, I shouldn't think, acceptable to Border in so much as they've already lost 2 wickets. But he's done a lot of good work out here to put things right. And there's another great shot from him through extra cover. Tremendous to see Border hitting the ball in the middle of the bat and bisecting the field. Good afternoon. It's off the edge and down to third man. So another single to Border, to Vessel's correction. He's been a lot slower than Border, as is normally the way with Vessels. And that one beats Clive Lloyd. Inside edge there from Border. And I suspect that ball was spinning away, and that probably wrong-footed the West Indian captain.
Marshall to Vessels.
Oh, that's out. He's gone, caught behind. Vessels turning his back on the umpire on that occasion, but Mel Johnson picked the big edge there, which was nicely taken by Jeff Dujon.
It was pretty obvious that Kepler Wessels nicked that one. He turned his back on the decision, but purely in disappointment. He's trying to battle it out, went for the drive, and a straightforward catch to Dujon. Wessels did turn his back on the decision, but just as I mentioned, in disappointment. So Malcolm Marshall picking up the wicket at Kepler Wessels, and Australia 3 for 58.
Well, the new batsman is a Victorian, Dean Jones. He has a strike rate of 98.85, and no doubt that'll please Keith Stackpole.
And played very well too over in Adelaide, getting that 99 not out against the Sri Lankans, and he comes in at the fall of Kepler Wessels. Malcolm Marshall just picking up the wicket, and Australia getting out of a bit of trouble to bring the West Indies right back into this game. Just 11 runs to Kepler Wessels from 51 balls faced. The Australians really needed him to go on with it today.
Way down the leg side, and Dean Jones would be a little upset he didn't latch on to that one. There's no one. It's deep square leg at the moment. Oh, he's bowled him, so he's dragged that one back onto the stumps, trying to cut the ball away. An inside edge, and the ball coming back onto off stump, and that's a big blow for Australia.
I think that previous delivery showed that Dean Jones's concentration was one that was going to be full of aggression today, and Winston Davis just outside that off stump. Dean Jones looking for the cut, and as we've seen so often in this series, batsmen getting an edge and dragging it back onto the stump. So Australia losing 2 quick wickets now. Dean Jones out bowled by Winston Davis, and Australia 4 for 64.
Richards to Phillips.
That's well placed by Wayne Phillips. Gomes will get it, but Border will comfortably get back for a third. No, he won't. He sends Phillips back, which is surprising because Larry Gomes hasn't got a strong arm. And some rather nasty deliveries for the opening batsman. It's well run, and that brings up Border's 50. Really has been in very consistent form throughout this series.
And very well played. Over half the runs coming in with Australia in all sorts of problems, with Joe Garner running rampant And here he is with a very good half century.
That's a very good square cut from Wayne Phillips. It landed just 5 metres inside the boundary. 7 runs in that over. It's 4 for 99.
Richards to Border.
Now that's a good shot. Boundary to Alan Border. That's his 6th boundary.
So they've reached 100 with 4 wickets down. Very good shot by Border. This is the 28th over of the innings.
Malcolm Marshall. 10 runs coming from make that 11 on the misfield. 11 from Viv Richards over. It's 4 for 110.
No balls from the
And we say goodbye now to
Clive
Sydney
Ward.
viewers.
Headache. Pressure of a final. It's beautifully played. Vivian Richards coming around the wicket. Left-handers. Richards 4 overs, no wicket for 22. Really, I think Wayne Phillips should really go after Viv Richards. It's 4 runs per over. That's the way. Nice chip away. Score off every delivery and run hard. Put the pressure on. Good cricket, Alan Border. And the West Indians getting a little bit sloppy. Looks for 2. Logie's deep. It's a bit close. Be very close for his home Border. Richards fumbles of all people. That was a photo finish. And the great Vivian Richards, after a great piece of work by Gus Logie, didn't take the ball cleanly.
Well, fortune smiles disfavourably on the great at times. That was a superb piece of fielding by Gus Logie. I've never seen anybody get rid of a ball as quickly as that and so accurately. It was in a fraction of a second, right on the stumps, and there's no appearance, Your Honour, as far as the batsman is concerned. Weston is just losing a little bit of edge.
Shot, beautifully played, Alan Border. In this field, it's starting to show. Odds-on favourites, the West Indies, coming into this final. Still a long way to go, but Richie Richardson normally safe. 1 hand instead of 2. Into a very even stage. Misfield, it went straight to him. The man there at that short final leg position was a regulation stop. 4 runs. Malcolm Marshall of all people.
Hedges World Series Cup. And they've lost them 6 of those on the Sydney Cricket Ground.
More importantly, Australia have won 6, and that's a great shot. What a superb shot, Alan Border. 9 runs off the over. Beautifully played. That's a good edge. They're the ones you want. Races away, and it's 4. No ball as well. He's been troubled by a leg strain. Suggesting to Clive Ward that he's got a real problem. Clive says, dressing room for you, Desmond.
Richards to Phillips.
Another beautiful shot there from Phillips this time through extra cover. It's the 100 partnership too with that shot, so there certainly has been a marvellous partnership for the Australians, and Phillips brings up his 50, so it's all happening out there at the moment in just 70 balls. The Australians fall for 166.
And more runs. And Gus Logie is the man herring around down there. He's taken Desmond Haynes' place. Haynes off the field with a torn muscle. Clive Lloyd has put Logie down there to cut off the runs. Border still picked up 2 there.
So just 70 balls for that 50, and don't forget he came in when the going was very tough indeed.
He's gone now. Picked up Michael Holding and hit him straight to Joel Garner at mid-wicket. And the pressure has eased again for the West Indians. It's 169 for 5 now, with Phillips gone on the even half-century.
Yes, once again timing the ball beautifully, just too well there. The mistake he made was that he hit it straight at the fieldsman. Garner there, with those big hands and long arms, making no mistake. And so a lovely innings this from Wayne Phillips, out for 50 with the bowling of Holding, and the Australians now 5 down for 1. And Richards to continue. That's nice placement there by O'Donnell. He's coming back for the second. Border responding. A little bit of a fumble down there, but that was good running by him. Nice urgent first run taken very quickly.
That's a great shot from Alan Border. There's nothing wrong with the ball. Richards bowled it, I reckon, exactly as he wanted it. Pinpointed it where he wanted the ball to drop. And Border just picked it up and hoiked it away over square. Irving Rosenwater reminds me that there have been 17 no balls bowled today. That will have made Clive Lloyd absolutely livid, I should think. Great shot for 4. Just about the shot of the day.
That's his 9th boundary, and what a beautiful shot it was. Leaning back on the up, smashing it through extra cover. Just what the doctor ordered. 5 for 189. It's going to be Malcolm Marshall, and Simon O'Donnell has the strike. He'll be looking for a single.
Viv Richards. Not even Richards can quite get there. It's a very good delivery from Marshall. It hustled onto Simon O'Donnell before he knew where he was. It was a reflex action shot.
Yes, I think it may have hit him straight between the eyes had he not got his bat up there quickly. Dead straight it was, and O'Donnell hitting it high and wide. Have a look at Richards go here, really quickly moving back. He catches those if he can get a hand to them. Wasn't quite quick enough.
Here's Border on 99. Got it. Got it, and a great 100 it is too. Alan Border has played 2 or 3 remarkable innings this year, but nothing to match today's effort. Australia must win the first of these 3 finals, and their skipper has played a magnificent knock. Joel Garner, Southern all-round again. And LBW. Simon O'Donnell gone. Tony Crafter gives him. We may find that O'Donnell was trying to take the ball off his stumps there from Joel Garner, whipping it away just in these last few overs. Well, that hit on the roll of the pad. He was up off the ground a little, but it was certainly in front. Garner and, no, only Garner. Dujon came up with the appeal a little later. So it's all going on out there. Everyone's getting a bit fratchy out in the centre, but not in the commentary box here. Tony Cozier is hanging loose and cool. Garner to Border.
Magnificent shot. That's 4 runs. Well, Alan Border has played some magnificent strokes today, but none better than that. That's his 10-4. Leaves Australia 6 for 212.
10 boundaries, 107 from 128, and as I mentioned, coming in at 2 for 7. Certainly a very good innings.
That'll go. 4 runs. So the West Indies under real pressure here for just about the first time in the tournament. This recovery, which we've seen from the Australians, will certainly alter the mood in the various dressing rooms during the break. The Australians will feel elated. Their captain, with a century under his belt, will come back to the applause of his teammates in the West Indies dressing room. They'll be asking a few questions, perhaps. And it's a no ball. Well, they may run several here if they're not careful. A no ball, one of the several we've seen today. th no ball for the day, and they took a single from it.
And quite a late call too by Mel Johnson. I had the feeling that that ball had hit the stumps before Mel Johnson had signalled it. Jeff Lawson getting right away from the stumps, giving Malcolm Marshall a great look at it. In fact, Lawson was on his way. The ball hit the stumps, and look at Jeff Lawson. He didn't hear it, and suddenly he looked up and saw Mel Johnson with his arm outstretched, so a let off there for the Australians, plus the fact that they've picked up an extra run.
Over the top, well hit. Very well hit. 4 runs, and that's the highest score ever made by an individual batsman in a Benson and Hedges World Series Cup match against the West Indies. Bruce Laird got 117 not out here at the SCG in the 1981-82 season, and now Alan Border with 120 has broken that record.
Irrespective whether it's the highest or not, well, it is the highest, as Tony Cozier mentioned, but it certainly couldn't have been any better innings than this.
That's 4 more. Alan Border really clobbering this ball now. In every direction. West Indians with hands akimbo, shaking heads.
And Malcolm Marshall, one of the few times right throughout this whole season, coming in from some harsh treatment. 1 for 55 from his 10 overs. Suddenly the smiles have disappeared from the West Indies.
So here's the last over of the Australian innings. And that's beautifully picked up by Jeff Lawson. Magnificent hit by Lawson. Lovely sound of leather on willow as soon as he connected, and it sailed away.
Cleanly struck by Lawson, anticipating that Garner was going to come into his leg stump, just gave himself a little bit of room and picked it up beautifully and plonked it right over that mid-wicket boundary for 6, right onto the hill, and didn't they love it? It's a lot of stamina.
He's hit that into the outfield. They'll obviously look for 2 here. It doesn't matter. They should have gone. Wouldn't have mattered. Just the single. And Australia finished with their highest total in 6 World Series Cup matches against the West Indies this summer. All thanks to their captain, Alan Border, who receives congratulations from Jeffrey Dujon, one of his greatest fans, Dujon, and the acclaim of this crowd at the SCG.
Well, there was a ton of excitement up here in the commentary box, and round the ground, everyone was ecstatic at that innings played by Alan Border. What a captain's knock that was. In the face of all the adversity, Australia, struggling in the preliminary games, have come out here and given the West Indies bowlers a real caning in this first final. The scorecard, 6 for 247 from a full 50 overs, a magnificent performance. Border 127 from 140 balls faced, and Phillips 50 from 72. That partnership 105 in only 21 overs. 42, the unbroken partnership between Border and Lawson at the end in just 4 completed overs. The bowling figures, well, that doesn't look like a West Indian team, does it? Garner, absolutely magnificent. 10 overs, 3 maidens, 3 for 29, a wicket to Holding, a wicket to Marshall, and 1 to Davis. The run rate required, 4.96, and that won't be easy even for the great West Indian side.
And beating the man at backward square leg, Dean Jones is the fieldsman in that position. And that was a very well played pull shot by Desmond Haynes. It's high and safe. Just 1 bounce and over the ropes. So that's just the start that Jeffrey Lawson didn't want. 10 runs coming in the first over. McCurdy from the Randwick end to Richie Richardson. Oh, and that's close. Yes, he's gone. The ball staying down. I thought for a moment that Richardson may have got an inside edge, but if he hadn't got an edge, he was always in trouble.
Well, just the start that Australia wanted. Richie Richardson on the back foot, quite uncertainly. And that couldn't be more out. McCurdy strikes. So the West Indies losing their opening batsman without a run, and they're now 1 for 10.
Larry Gomes at number 3 with a very good strike rate, almost up to 80. And giving Gomes too much room outside off stump. Simon O'Donnell has quite a chase. Gomes back for 3. So 3 runs and a wicket from McCurdy's first over. It's well placed by Larry Gomes, and it beats Simon O'Donnell into the boundary. So that's 3 boundaries now. They've come from the bowling of Geoffrey Lawson. Oh, and he's gone. A wild shot from Desmond Haynes. And really, you could almost see that coming. He's been playing in a very loose fashion. And it was no surprise when Lawson hit his off stump.
Yes, I think we could give some sympathy here to Haynes because of the injury, which he's definitely feeling. But he won't want to see that replay. That was really a cow shot. You would see it in any Saturday afternoon park match. Haynes out for 11, 2 for 20, West Indies in trouble.
And that's got to be close, yes. That one's staying down as well. Larry Gomes disappointed. Rod McCurdy absolutely delighted.
Well, perhaps the answer here is to play forward. Richardson on the back foot, and now Gomes on the back foot, both leg before. And Gomes off the ground when that ball hit him, but it did stay down. It was going to take middle. And the West Indies really up against it now. Three, 4, 20.
Very aggressive Viv Richards smashes back the bowler killer. On that occasion it just missed the bowler. It also went fairly close to the umpire. It's high. It'll be just out of reach for Graham Wood. Made tremendous ground, Graham Wood, and might have almost gone through his hands. It was a fantastic effort and a very loose shot from Richards. Edged, no second slip, and 4 runs. And I would think that Alan Border would have to think very seriously about a second slip. I still think that they've got to bowl the West Indies out. So certainly in the form to produce a big innings, as is Viv Richards, who is second on the West Indies batting list with an average of 75. Bouncer, and well hit by Lloyd. And he's off the mark with a boundary. Never hooked to get off the mark, they say. Well, Clive Lloyd doesn't believe in that.
Well, that's a lovely shot. Clive Lloyd blazing that one away through extra cover. Sufficiently well timed to reach the boundary just before the fieldsman. Oh, he's hit that miles way down towards deep square leg at 6. Beautiful shot by Clive Lloyd. McCurdy making the mistake of dropping it short, and Lloyd playing a beautiful hook shot way over the boundary down at fine leg, so it's 3 for 45. We've got Rodney Hogg into the attack now. Well, that's straight down the ground. It's high in the air. Once again, he's underneath it. Will he catch it? He's dropped it. What a good effort that was. Well, that could be the difference in this match.
And Terry Alderman, the substitute fieldsman for Jeff Lawson, a tremendous effort by Alderman. He saw that the ball was hit straight down the ground. He turned his back on it. He ran, he tried to make up ground, and then finally kept his eye on it, put the hands out. It looked as though it was going to stick for a moment, and then just popped out.
Well, that's in the air, but through the field and way down towards square leg. Another boundary to Richards, and once again, a very aggressive but slightly risky shot, and I should think that the Australians are just hoping that one of these will go straight to the hands of one of the fieldsmen. Richards on 29, Lloyd on 19, and Haynes, Richardson and Gomes the men out. We're into the 17th over now, and he's dropped again. That's the third time Vivian Richards has been dropped. A couple of real hard ones, but that one, well, also pretty hard. Wood once again diving away, this time to his right.
Viv Richards looking for the big drive, and Graham Wood throwing himself to his right. It was going, was hit pretty well. And Graham Wood just not able to hold on to it.
Lawson. Richards coming back for the second. This will be close if it's a good throw, but just a fraction wide. Richards safely home.
To 19 overs, a comparison showing the West Indies slightly in advance.
A bit more now, Frank, because he's whipped that beautifully, Richards, out to the mid-wicket boundary.
He really hit that with the kitchen sink, didn't he? He hit it as hard as he could. Tremendous onside player. He really picks it up so sweetly, so cleanly, right over the inner ring of fieldsman.
Run rate 4.05. Gone! Yeah, straight to point. At last, a catch goes to hands. Kepler Bessel's the catcher, and McDermott strikes a vital blow for the Australians.
And that's just the medicine that the doctor ordered. As Bill Lawry was saying, containment isn't the answer. Wickets are the answer. And McDermott produces that tantalising ball outside the off stump, which tempts Clive Lloyd so often. He failed to get over the top of it, clipped it smartly to point, and equally smartly, Kepler Wessels picks up a good, sharp opportunity. And this vital partnership has been broken. Clive Lloyd out for 20, the total 4 for 82.
At the Randwick end, it's going to be Simon O'Donnell replacing Craig McDermott. Shot, beautifully timed. Oh, there's a mix-up as Richards gone. Richards is close. He's home. The throw was just a fraction wide. There was hesitation between Logie and Richards. Steve Smith was the fielder. He was magnificent. He gave his all, and the throw was just a fraction wide.
It just isn't Logie and Richards' day today, or night tonight. They were involved in that mix-up as regards the run-out, and now here again they're almost in a run-out confrontation. And really, had that throw been accurate, he would have been out by miles. He was about 3 yards adrift when Phillips first took that ball, but he took time to get the ball in hand and throw it at the stumps.
Great decision. And top decision, that.
So 4 for 97.
That's a marvellous shot from Richards, an improvised stroke. Bill Lawry said that it'll be Simon O'Donnell he goes after, and so it will. 100 comes up for West Indies. 3 runs to Vivian Richards. And it's 50 runs to Vivian Richards. 100 up at the same time. Fine shot. Gus Logie is not to be outdone by Richards. And again, good running, no bat to encumber him on the way down the track there.
So it's pretty well even Stevens after 26 overs. West Indies just with that lead there.
Out! And that is vital for the Australians. Rodney Hodges struck. That is a great wicket. Exactly what the Australians had to do. The run rate has gone up to just under 6 required every over, and the pressure was on. Gus Logie holed out at cover.
Not a good shot that by Logie, heading through the line, completely mistiming it. And Logie goes for 12, and the West Indies slump further into trouble, 5 for 107. Well, they wouldn't have been in this kind of trouble for the entire season to date. 27th over in the West Indies, 5 for 107.
It's a fine shot into the area at mid-wicket. Very good running between the wickets. Over, gives him the strike again. Next over, 5 for 111. 60 to Richards and 9 to Duchamp. Richards has strike. Oh, beautiful. Oh, and marvellous piece of fielding. Graham Wood. It was a great shot by Richards. Placement again. They'll get 3 there.
Oh, he's got him. That one's staying down, and Craig McDermott right on line, hits off stump. And a tremendous breakthrough for Australia.
And the crowd surge down the hill as Jeffrey Dujon surges towards the pavilion. The victim of a ball that did keep down, and the look of surprise on Dujon's face was something to behold. The ball cut back into him, and he really couldn't believe his eyes. The snarl of delight appears on Craig McDermott's face. Wood rushes in to congratulate him, and he is out. Dujon out for 14, 6 for 137.
He's got him. That's the man they wanted. And once again, Craig McDermott has hit that off stump. And a very, very happy man surrounded by a very, very happy team.
And Border calling his troops to order. All right, boys, all right, boys. Viv has gone. But it's not all over yet. This is the most disciplined performance from the Australian side so far, as Richards aims that square cut off the off stump, the ball perhaps keeping just a little bit lower than he expected. It was a risky stroke, but what a crucial blow. Viv Richards out for 68, 7 for 140.
There's a man out there, but has cleared him. And in fact, it almost cleared the boundary rope.
There's no room for complacency out there. Malcolm Marshall, I think, has got cramp.
Could well be a bit more than cramp.
I'm just wondering whether Malcolm Marshall's suggesting he should have someone to run for him.
And in fact, it's Jeffrey Dujon, and he heads off to square leg. He's got him, bowled him round his legs. Michael Holding coming forward and well across with that front foot. He's left his leg stump exposed, and Simon O'Donnell has hit it.
Well, Simon O'Donnell's methods with the older ball tend to be to angle the ball in. He does this on this occasion, and it just goes at the back of that rear leg. There must have been just millimetres in it. It almost hit the pad. Probably had it hit the pad, it might have been given not out LBW, because it might have been judged to be going down the leg side, but it hit the leg stump, clipped it, holding out for 1, 8 for 147.
Dujon there in the background, just marking the line. Oh, he's hit that, Miles. Straight up into the hill for 6. Well, they certainly stay hit when these West Indians hit one. We saw Lawson hit a 6 in that area, big one too. But Marshall there smashing this one away. And that's the way he should play from here on in. He's got to take risks. Marshall, a big hitter of the ball. And that's a lovely shot too, whipped away off his toes for 4, so that's 10 in 2 balls. And prior to this knock, he'd only received 5 deliveries in the Benson Hedges World Series Cup. Beautiful evening up here in Sydney, nice and warm. Tremendous atmosphere around the place. Oh, he's hit that one away, right into the gap too. A beautiful shot that by Marshall. We've seen him play some really very aggressive and good attacking shots. A big 6 to mid-wicket, a beautiful shot off his toes to square leg, and then this one. 61 runs needed by the West Indies. Australia 2 wickets. It's in the air and he's dropped him. Alderman there, who's on the ground in place of Rodney Hogg, seemed to me going up in the air just a little bit too soon there, and it hit his hands as he was coming down.
Getting too close for comfort from the Australian point of view and their supporters. It's close, he's got him, yes, the Yorker gets through. They're coming from everywhere, the crowd's gone wild. McCurdy, as Tony Cozier says, good line, good length, and knocks over the gallant Malcolm Marshall.
This is really top bowling here by McCurdy. He's the least experienced of the Australians. Wouldn't have played all that much limited overs cricket, but there and thereabouts with every delivery in that over. Yorker to Ghana, and now the perfect delivery, having frustrated Malcolm Marshall. Low full toss, almost a Yorker, and that's just about it.
What a magnificent 43 from Malcolm Marshall. Leaves the ground with Dujon, well played, 9 for 210. 33 runs off 21 deliveries. And that's a nice deflection. It's McCurdy. He's not all that quick. He dives. He misses it again. That's the 3rd time this evening he's slid and not knocked the ball into play. And Geoff Warson's certainly not impressed, nor is Alan Border. This will be close. If he hits that, it's going to be gone. He's gone, is he? Yes, he is. Victory for Australia. And it was Terry Alderman who come in and underarmed the throw, hit the stumps. Big Joel Garner run out for 27. And the odds-on favourites have gone down in the Sydney Cricket Ground. A great victory for Australia. What a match for Captain Alan Border. Strode to the wicket at 2 for 7. Made 127, supported by Wayne Phillips. And then his bowlers did not let him down. McDermott, McCurdy, Lawson and company kept the pressure on, and the West Indians for the first time in 12 one-day internationals have wilted and gone down.